Hello, happy day to everybody. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to Allianz Joy. I'm glad to be here. Very happy to be here with you today, bringing you some joy and bringing you some thoughts. Just adding to hopefully a little bit of happiness and a little bit of wisdom nuggets today regarding stop caring and start sharing. What do I mean with that? Welcome. I'm Eliane. I am a life coach and work mainly with people that are suffering from anxiety, depression, working through trauma, doing a lot of somatic work, and as well, my other tier of my business is working with corporate, with C-suite, with execs on time management, goal setting, things that I talk a lot about. And also kind of doing corporate wellness things, right? We all need a little bit of mental reset, emo reset, emotional intelligence, and we all need a little bit of spring fever at this moment, moving forwards into some beautiful times of the year. And I definitely have spring fever. I tell you, I just want to play outside and play with my plants. So, as women, you probably understand that sometimes we just want to run outside with our hands in the air, doing a Kermit right there, and go, yay, finally out of the cold weather into the warm spring weather, and doing pots and plants and bringing flowers in and doing your flower beds and things like that. That makes me happy, that brings me joy. So I hope you suffer a little bit from the same things. What I mean today with stop caring, start sharing, is that we can do a few things that are very important. We can stop caring about ourselves sometimes too much. That means that with my clients, I do that. They are too much in maybe anxiety mindset and too much, sometimes even suffering from depression. And not that we're not taking that very serious and we're working through that, but it can also be a little excessive. Sometimes we just think too much about what would others think about us. I cannot get out of the door. I don't look good enough. There's maybe a lot of negative thinking and a lot of self-esteem issues, and sometimes courage, and sometimes procrastination. The things that we're not putting in action, the things that we're not doing for ourselves, and that will hold us back. So if we are saying stop caring, if I say to you stop caring, that is not that I don't want you to care out of self-compassion and self-love, right? Those are very important. And I work with my clients a lot on self-love and self-compassion. These two are very important. Self-love is something that is really coming from a nice place of self-esteem and confidence, where you just know that you're in a really state of appreciation for yourself, and that grows from your actions that support your physiological, your psychological, your spiritual growth, right? You just feel in a place of, in a good place. You have that peace, that happiness inside that is not just validating by others, but that is a place inside where you just really feel a place of self-love. Self-compassion is really a kind and understanding way to confront your personal failings. So self-compassion comes from your actions, and then looking at it, sometimes it might not work, sometimes it's not good, sometimes it's tough, but you know that, you are confronted with those failings, that things are not working out, that you treat yourself just like you would treat somebody else. What? With kindness and understanding, right? And these two are very important. We do have to care about a routine in the morning, setting habits, doing things that are full of self-compassion and self-love. That is a great way to start the day. But after that, I always say, let's go plan, let's set some goals, let's jump into action, right? And stop being in that, oh, my mode, I can't do it, and focusing a little bit less on what you need for yourself when you jump into action. What are the consequences of that? There might be some courage involved, right? Jumping forwards, but it is really good for you, and it brings you to a place where you feel more confident, where your self-esteem is growing, and where you really stop caring about things that are out of control. We do that a lot as well. I read this. You can give your energy to what matters if you think that everything matters. And it's such a great quote because if you are just constantly thinking that everything is important, even what we do during the day, being on the cell phone, scrolling through Facebook, looking at too many things, getting caught up in Facebook little videos, caring about world opinion, caring about what other people think about matters and things, they might not really apply to you, but we get carried away, right? We do that. We just get carried away about things that do not matter. And what does matter sometimes falls by the wayside. And what does matter is your health, your family's health, your immediate friends, the things that you can do for yourself, your career, your money situation, your spiritual place, right? The things that you can work on for yourself regarding that success. There are things that are out of your control, a lot of things, and we try to control them. That is that big what if anxiety thing, right? What you can control is just very simple: your integrity, your attitude, your kindness, influence, the things that you do for others, your actions, your boundaries, all these things that are coming from the inside, the efforts that you're giving, your circle of friends that you surround yourself with, right? The boundaries that you set. You can control that. Very important. I work on that a lot. You can control your limits, your time, right? You can control how much time you give on self-care and when it's time to care about others. And why do I say that so much? Because it is so important to sometimes give and care about others and not about what others think, right? We need to let that go. We need to come into a place of fulfillment with who we are, just being into a gratitude place, an attitude of gratitude place, of being okay with who we are. And that means even our little failures and the things that we didn't accomplish and the things that we're kind of mad or disappointed about, it is okay. I had to let go this week. It was just a week of time change in the United States. I don't know where you're watching, but if you're in the United States, it was a time change that I'm not really happy with anymore. It sets me off, my system, my thinking, my mental well-being. I get tired. And there was also a full moon situation this week, and that had some weird energy shifts that I could feel. And where I am usually really upbeat and full of energy, I felt myself less focused, really tired, and just kind of dragging through the week. And I found myself in the beginning just really getting upset at myself for being there in that place. Why is this not being done? Why can I not do it? Kind of forcing myself through some tasks that I had to do for work. And after a couple of days, I said, you know what? I hear that this is the case. There is, of course, this energy shift for a couple of weeks, maybe even a long week, 10 days, right? When you come into that springtime, there is that time shift that we suffer from a little bit when this is done by whoever decides to put the clock back forwards into springtime. Where that comes from, I don't know, but it has definitely an effect on us. But in other words, I had to tell myself, you know what, maybe this was just one of these weeks where you were really vulnerable to that energy, to the time shift. Some things didn't work out, some things you didn't get done. Just place yourself in a place of forgiveness. Just be kind and go sleep more or go outside more or go rest more or read more. Things that you can do to fulfill yourself and let that slip away, that fatigue. And it happens. I mean, it's just, I feel a lot better. I have a lot of energy today. It just goes away, but sometimes we just have to let it flow through us and not fight it so much. Now, why do I always say start sharing? Because I find over all those years that I've worked with clients and with patients in a clinical setting, in a coaching setting, in a mentoring setting, that when I help my clients overcome depression, anxiety, even past trauma, that when we move forward and we start sharing our stories, our expertise, our lessons learned, that makes us really happy. It puts us in a place of being able to really show others what we have experienced and what we have learned. And it is so imperative that we start doing that without feeling being judged. Because that feeling of caring what others think about us is bringing us to a place of being really careful and maybe staying in the background and maybe just not speaking up or maybe not voicing our voice or our opinions. And if we do that, then we're not being heard. And if we don't share what we learned, it might be the same as somebody else. It might be a different experience. Sometimes it's the same experience, but you felt and experienced it different than others. So when it comes to that, we're all unique. And everybody has people and can find people that will listen to you because you are you. I really learned that the hard way because I did that. I was worried about what other people would think. I was worried about being too much. I was worried about being overwhelming. I was worried about doing things that people were already doing. So why would I do it? Right? But what I learned in the days that I was doing a lot of yoga classes, teaching a lot of yoga classes, for instance, is that people came to do yoga with me. And not because I did the same 15 poses as everybody else does that has taught the basics of yoga and teaching it. So it was not about the poses, but it was about my delivery, my enthusiasm, my energy, the way I brought it, the way I verbalized it, the way I showed it. It was all about what I had to offer and bring in my unique, specific way. And when we start seeing our own value like that, it becomes a lot easier to not compare and not feel overwhelmed and not feel that it's not good enough or not feel that you're too much. I had to learn that as well. And I felt ultimately a lot more at peace with who I was, even the lot of energy and the overwhelm sometimes and the way I come across that I might not always like. But there are people that like that. There are people that love me for who I am. And I had to look at that and find out that that is so amazing that people love me for who I am, love me for who I come across. And for you, that is the same. So it's not necessarily the fact that you ultimately start telling a story and have experienced things. Maybe it is your trauma. Maybe it is overcoming. Maybe it is your faith story that we share a lot in Bree Talks. And you can find that on my website, a link to that. But it is sharing stories and doing storytelling and sharing your expertise. We all do it. We all do it in a way, but sharing with others that comes back that makes you feel better. Sometimes I call that just an after effect of sharing, right? It made me feel really happy if I share something with somebody else and they said, wow, that helped so much. That makes me feel great. I'm trying to share my resources on social media, right? The things that are important to me, things that I know, things that I have read, things that are about my knowledge and expertise, the things that I have worked so hard for. I share that with others. I share my experience in the sense of the work that I actually do with you right now and how I hope to teach sometimes, so the webinars or even engaging, right, in the community and doing activities with others where we can all share, setting up events and setting up summits so we can all share. And sharing emotions and raw emotions as well. It is okay to cry. It's okay to cry on somebody else's shoulder and let them see that you are not always perfectly put together. And that we have our weaknesses and that we have our pain and that we have our shame and guilt. And just share that with others. You'll be surprised how many times people say, yeah, I get that. I have that as well. I go through that many times. So let's start together to really feel that you are worthy. And because you are worthy and unique, you should not withhold from other people. When I tell my clients when they're for a long time stuck in anxiety or even in a long-term depression, it is very valid and we work through it. But once we start working through it and we start seeing a little bit of hope towards the end, then I say, it is time not to withhold your beautiful, unique self from others anymore and let them see you. Because the longer you take, the more time you take away from others to see your beautiful, valuable self and the things that you can add and help with and contribute to others. It's really important to do so. So, in a sense of stop caring, it's not just about, right? Of course, you have to care about yourself. First thing, if we don't feel good, we can't help others. So, self care is important, self love is important. Coming to that place of self-esteem and confidence is important. What do you have to do for yourself every day to step into that place? That time we should spend with self. But then sometimes we have to stop caring about everything that doesn't matter and start caring about what really matters and what we can do for others. And that's what I mean with start sharing. And that also has to do with sharing your time, sharing your love, your gifted and your giving self with others. See what you can do for somebody who hasn't seen you for a while or who hasn't heard from you for a while, or somebody that you would love to spend time with. Let's pick up the phone again and just reach out and say, hey, I'm here for you. Let's do something fun together, right? I would love to see you. How can we do that? It's so important to be with others and not alone in that sense, to start really being in a community, reaching out to others that you would like to hang out with. That way we can get a whole reset right now in the springtime. So let's get out and do it. Let's get moving. Let's get healthy. Let's get some new diet and nutrition things going, right? For this new season, always really important. Start moving. That's really important, right? Start there always. But also maybe even declutter and make room for thoughts, make room for sitting, make room for little bitty habits and routines that you're going to implement to get your day started. Maybe you need to get up earlier in the spring. Maybe you can start going early to the gym. Maybe you can start with that outside meditation, right? Wonderful things. Write things down for yourself, journal a lot. It's always really healthy to write down those emotions, right? And practice that forgiveness, the things that didn't work out. It's okay. Try not to get stuck there. It's okay. There's a reason that it didn't work out. You learned from it and you grew, right? And so that way you can declutter your mind and declutter your physical space and just start with a really nice new reset for this season. And I might be a little early. I think I'm still a week or maybe 2 weeks. I'm still a week early when it comes to that real time spring, but you might watch this at a later time. You might watch this next week. You might watch this next month, but it really actually always happens. It's always applicable to you. Let's just stop caring about the things that do not matter and stop caring about the things that do. And if that is you, care about you first and then about others. And let's start sharing with others the things that are really important for you. Because you'll be surprised if you ask and tell how many times you get wonderful feedback. Wonderful, amazing feedback. We just have to do it. Stepping up and stepping out. Thank you for watching today. I love you. I'm glad you were here with me. I always love to share. Please give me feedback. Reach out. Let me know how you're doing. elianhaan.net is where you can find me. And on my website, you can find all the links to social media, little videos, the things that we did over the past couple of years that I've been doing this little podcast talk show with you. Very glad to be here. And I hope to see you next week. Make it an amazing day. It's up to you. Bye-bye.